I am Dr. Mohammad Rafi, Associate Professor, Department of Cybersecurity at Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. Today I want to discuss about the network programming and management subject, in which the topic is TCP echo server using the threads. Here TCP means transmission control protocol, echo means same message. Whatever the information, whatever the data received by the client, same information can be responded by the server. So it is the meaning of the echo server. Thread is nothing but a single flow of the control. It is a thread. Here is creating a transmission control protocol echo server using the thread, which is involving Python socket library for networking, threading library to handling the multiple client other connection. Generally, this echo server, so this is a server, this one is a server mission, so it is a echo server. These are the echo server which is using the Python socket library for any networking, other programming, or thread other library. Thread library means here, now in the client, other server, other communication, it is a client. It is a other client. Client, other server, other communication. Here is now which is sending the client is sending the data. Whatever the data is the sending, that is the data is a single flow of control. Sequence, it is a single flow of the sequence data can be sent from the client to server. So this is a threading library. Single lightweight single the instructions can be sent from the client to the server. So here, which is handling the multiple other clients concurrently. Client 1 and which is handle the client other 2, client other 2, client 3, client 3, client 3, multiple client 3, client 1, 2, 3, up to dash n number of other clients can be accessed. The information, the data can be accessed from the multiple other clients. So like this, now we can create the TCP echo server using the threads, multiple single flow of other control. Here is only the single flow of other control can be taken. So that is a threading library from the threading other library. Here is handling the client function. This is the import socket and import the threading. Import the socket here. Now if we take these are the socket which is providing the low level networking interfaces. Threading, single the flow of process which allowing the server to handle the multiple other clients concurrently. At a time now, the multiple clients, client 1, client 2, client 3, up to n number of other clients. Multiple clients at a time, we can access and provide the services to the other clients. So this is a import socket and threading. Importing these are the socket, whatever the socket is arranged at a client side. At a client side, this is a socket at client side. These are the socket which is allowing the multi-threading. Multiple other threads can be allowed the concurrently accessing the multiple other data. Here is handle client other function. So this is a handle client function. Handle other client other function now, which is take the client socket as an argument. So it is the client or the socket as a argument. So these are the client or the socket which is receives the data from the client and sends it back to the client. That means this is the meaning of the echo. Receiving the data, sending back the same data. If it is sent back the same data, now we can call it as a echo. And after that here, that closes the connection between the client and other server. Here is the with print accept the connection, client socket, get the peer name, get the client name. And if it is the true, data can be received. This is the port number. With help of this the port number and IP address, the data can be received. The server machine which is receiving the data with help of the port number and address, IP address of the client. If not, data is not received, simply disconnect the connection between the client and other server. So this is the handling. This is the definition of the handling the client. With this the handling, the server can receive the data. Here, after that now, which is printer, now which is receives the data, and data will be the decoded. So this is the code UTF -E8. Client socket sends all other data, whatever the data communication you are establishing from client to the server. These are the client or the socket which is sending all the data. Here is generally now we can arrange the socket at client side and server side. Here is client side of the socket which perform the task sending data to the server and receiving data from the server. Both the actions can be performed by the client. Here, after transformation, after data transformation, now the connection will be the closed by the client socket or by the server or the socket. The connection will be the close, connection closing. So here the print F printing the connection closed by the client socket. Get name of the peer from the related client, related the peer. Related the peer means related the client. Whatever the other client, from whatever the client, the communication is establishing, the data is sending, so that can be closed. So it is if it is closing the connection. It's the meaning of the closing the connection. Once the task is completed, then only we can close the connection. Here is the main function. The main function now generally we can perform with help of this the main function we can perform the task. Here with help of this the main function now we can create the server socket. We can create the server the socket. Here is the server the socket that can be address INET family. That server socket is a INET the family address family. So it can be created. Here the socket dot socket AF INET family address internet addressing the family and socket sock the streaming and server bind. So the server here after creating the server, now here it is the creating. This is the function now which creates the server. After creating the server, now simply what we are doing, binding. Perform the binding. Binding, it is binding the both IP address of the client and port number of the client. Binding generally we can perform with help of the IP address and port number. Once the binding is completed and the server starting the listening for incoming connections. Whatever the incoming connections are coming to the server, if it is listening the incoming connections, for each incoming connections, so it creates the new thread that runs the handle client function. That means print server listening on the port, that is a particular whatever the client, now whatever the client, the information is coming, so just which is listening the port number. If it is the port number are ready, if it is a true, while it is a true, the condition is true, the server, the client is available for accessing, immediately the client socket will be activated. Now client socket dot address that is equals to server is accepted that address. Here if the port is available, the port number is available, then only the server is accepting the so and so client socket. Client is client handler, now which is a threading. Threading dot thread that is a target is equals to handle client, comma a arguments client socket. The client socket, that means here threading, the client is performing the threading operation. Now which is sending the instructions, only one by one instructions can be sent from the other client. The client at a time here, the many other instructions which the can't send the many other instructions in a threading concept. In a threading concept here, so it is a single flow of instructions. Execution of the single flow of instruction, it is a lightweight process. Single flow of lightweight process. This is a meaning of the threading. Threading can be performed by handling the client, whatever the client now requesting, the server handle that particular client and perform the operations. Here is the client the handler. Now with this the function client underscore handler dot the start. So with this one here performing the actions handle. If the name is equals to the main function, if it is true, then handles the instructions perform the task. So this is a diagrammatical representation. Now the socket, generally here the socket can be connected at both the server side and the client side. Client side we can connect the socket. Similarly, the server side also we can connect the socket. Here is the TCP echo server. The server is a TCP echo server, transmission control protocol. So these are the client. Here is this client. This is the port which is chosen by the TCP, and also which specify the server well-known port number. Well-known the port number, with help of this the port number. Now that's why this is the server before listening the connection of the client. Before listening the connection of the client, first the server is performing the binding operation. Now which is performing the binding operation, which is performing the bind operation or binding operation. After performing the binding operation, now which is listening, listening for the connection. If it is listen the binding operation, means here in this is the binding operation, what we are binding? IP address and port number. Now we are binding both. If it is the port, immediately the server identify the so and so the particular that related client, and listening that other client. Once if it is a listening, we accept the listening, immediately the data the transparency can be done. That is single the flow of the control can be done. Single the instructions can be transmitted to the server. So that is so whatever the single instructions are received by the server, that server at the mission, the instructions can be processed. After completing the processing, responded the same instructions to the client. That is the meaning of the, with help of this response and receivings can be done with the help of the transmission control protocol. That's why now we are saying it as it is a TCP echo server. The server is sending the same message by supporting of the transmission control protocol. We can say it as a TCP echo server. Here is, these are the transmission. receiving, sending should be the threading. Based on the threading can be done. The flow is a single flow from the client to server, or server to client is a single other flow. For that now, we are utilizing the data link layer at both the client side and server side. Now we are using the data link layer. By using the data link layer, now we are providing effectively, we can transmit the data from client to server and server to the client. You'll see, and running the server. Here, this running, how can you run the server means here in a Python programming language. Generally, the example is a TCP echo server dot py dot the Python. TCP echo server dot the Python. So by using this the command, now we can run the server. Save the code to the other file. The script here, now we can write the script in a Python here. Python TCP echo server dot py. By using this now, Python TCP echo server dot the py. Now we can run the server. Here is the server will start and listening for the incoming and connections on the port number 9999, 4 nines. So this is the port number. Based on this, the port number now which is listening the incoming connection and responding based on that the incoming connection, it will be the responded to the client. Whatever the from whatever the client receiving connection, from that now which is responding. And testing the server. How can test the server? That means with the help of the port number, now we can test the server. You can test the server using the telnet or by writing the simple client script. Here this is a script for testing the server. The script is telnet localhost and 9999 is a port number of the particular host, local host. That means a particular the client. Using this as a telnet, now we can perform the testing operation. That means the echo is performed or not. Same message is received or not. That is a communication. For example, the best communication is a mobile communication. In mobile communication, what will happen means here, client 1 here, client 1 sending the information or sending the voice signals to client 2. Client 2 sending the voice signals to client 2. Here, what happened means now, the signals, now we can't send directly to the client 2. First, the signal is going to the base station. Here is the base station is there between these two clients, base the station. We can send the signal to the base station. From that at the base station, now we are sending the signals to client 2. Like this now, we are performing the operations. That is a for that now we are utilizing the that is a client the port number, which is having some port number and it was also having the port number. Here not only the port number, here the server, when it is listening or when it is providing the server, whenever the after binding operation only, so which is listening and accepting the connection and sending the information and transformations can be done from client 1 to the client 2. So this is the process. Like this now we can perform the testing to the servers. Here some typing some text and it should be same other text echoed back. That is the meaning of the TCP echoed server. Using the threading technology or threading mechanism, now we can echo back the same message using the client as the script here. So in this is the client as the script, now we can see importing socket, defining the main function, the client side. Now socket dot AF inet family, socket streaming. Now socket the created at the client side, or socket can be created at the server side here. The client side now, once the client dot connect local host. If it is connected to so and so local host, so that port number is a 9,999. Client sends all some other message. Client is sending the some message to server. Whatever the server it is, the connected. And the response received, client is receives the response from the 1024, which is the port number of the server here, and printing the response, the decoding the form. And once the client is receives the response from client, we can close the connection. That is a client dot close. That means the connection is closed at the client side. Here is which saves the client and the script to a file. For example, TCP echo client.py and run it to see the echo server in the action. So this example which is saying that here creating the basic multi-threaded TCP echo server. TCP echo server now which is creating. That can handling the multiple clients simultaneously. Multiple other clients with help of this one here, the server now. So it is the server mission now which is handling the multiple other clients. So it is a client 1, client 2, client 3, up to dash n number of other clients. Client 1, client 2, client 3, up to dash n number of other clients now. These are the server mission now which is accessing, which is simultaneously accessing. Here processing can be at client side, the processing can be at the performing. That means the threading concepts we are using. The processor which is having the each and every processor which is having the multiple other threads. That's why the concurrence of the mechanism can be implemented in a multi-threading. Multiple other processes can be performed at a time. So that is a multi-threading. That means now, for example, now if you based the real-time example now, if you see the PC, the personal computer, that the personal computer what it is doing means now at a time which is performing the many tasks. That is at a time which is now in this the personal computer at a time now which is printing the pages or performing the some audio or videos. The operations can be performed or any the documentation now while taking the print. Now you can do the some documentations, or you can listen the songs, or you can see the videos at a time that can be performed. That is a multitasking. Tasking. The processor which is performing the multitasking, that is multitasking can be happened with help of the multi-threading. So that is a client the scripting. So with it can be done in a TCP echo server using the multi-threading concepts. Here is TCP echo server using the thread that can be applied in a several real-time applications across various sectors in a society. Here is some of the practical examples are chart applications. And chart is a real-time application, that is a instant messaging. TCP echo server that can be handled, build the chart application wherever the message is sent by the user broadcast. That is a artificial intelligence based the chart, that is chart GPTs or so any other chart rooms. So each of the message can be processed by the thread, which is ensures the real-time communication without delay. Here is online gaming. Online gaming also one of the most important application. Now we are using the multiplayer games. That means multiple other players we can play at a time in a online other gaming for more than other 2 players that can be we can play. Here that is a TCP echo server can handle the multiple other player connections simultaneously. Each player actions that can be processed by the individual threading or ensuring the real-time interactions and synchronizing between the other players. And remote device controls. Remote device control means here home automation, industrial automation. Home automation now if we take now control the smart home devices. you can control smart home devices, and the commands sent from the user devices are processed in a real time by threading. Here is the server echoes back the device response or status. That is a home automations, industrial automations. Industrial automation similar to the home automation now. In industrial also now we can control or monitoring the whatever the happening in a industry. So that can be monitored in a industries. That is a industrial the automation using the TCP echo server, the threading concept now. Easily we can monitor in a industry situations, or industry work environment can be the monitor. That is a industrial automations. Real time the monitoring system. Generally, real time monitoring systems can be considered in a healthcare monitoring and environment monitoring. In a healthcare monitoring now, if we take, so patients, suppose if you take the hospitality, in a hospital or a system, generally these the patients can use the TCP echo servers to handling the data from various other sensors. Here is now the request can be sent, the appointments can be taken, how many users are taking the appointments, how many users are taking their healthcare, each and everything can be monitored. Each sensor data is processed by a thread and sent back to a monitoring system for immediate analysis. Environmental monitoring for a real-time environment data collections. That, for example, here air quality, weather conditions. A TCP echo server can handle the multiple sensor inputs and echoing the data back to a central system for processing. So this is about the environmental the monitoring can be done with a TCP echo server using the threading concepts. And financial transactions. That means in a banking system, stock marketing. So in these now these are the TCP echo servers. Using the threading concepts now we can use in a banking system or a stock or the trading other platforms. Banking system generally here these are real-time financial transactions that can be done with help of the TCP echo server using the threading concepts or multi-threading concepts. By using the multi, suppose if you are using the multi-threading concepts now, multiple other transactions can be performed. Each request is processed in a real time by the thread, and which will be ensuring the quick, reliable transaction processing. And stock marketing, or that is a stock trading platforms. In a stock marketing or stock trading platforms, now we can use the echo server threading concepts. By using this echo server threading concepts, here is the now it is similar to the banking system. Stock trading platforms which is having that can be the benefit from the threaded TCP echo servers from the processing, buying, selling orders in a real time. That means the products. That means in a trading system, the companies know the customers are they are buying units. They are investing on a banking or any companies. They will be invested and they will buy the orders. If the customers if they got the profit, now they may sell the orders. That means buying, selling is a single flow of control. At a time now, we can't buy, we can't sell the product at a time we can't do that. It's a single flow. After buying, if we get the benefit now, then we can sell the orders. That is a product orders can be sold. Maintaining and market the stability and responsiveness. So this is a stock trading platforms. And customer supporting system, live customer supporting chart. It's the application. That means here any real-time supports chart systems. That is a threaded TCP echo server can be done. Each customer query which is can be handled by the separate thread, which is ensuring the timely responses from the supported agents. And collaboration tools. That is a real-time document editing, like Google Document, TCP echo server which handle the real-time documents. Real-time now we can edit the document with the help of the TCP echo server using the threading concepts. Each user they make changes or processed and echoed back to the other users, which is allowing the seamless other collaborations. Here is telecommunication. Telecommunication, that means voice over the internet protocol service. So these are the service now which can, in this other service we can use the TCP echo server using the threading other concepts. By using this one, the connection, voice connection can be established effectively. That is a mobile, the best example is a mobile communication. That is a voice over IP internet the protocol the communication. Each call in this mobile communication is the processed by a threading, ensuring the very clear and uninterrupted the communication between the two devices. These are all these examples now which demonstrating that threaded TCP echo server using threading concepts now which are more efficient and very reliable in a real-time processing across over various applications in a society. Here, the main objectives are concurrent handling of the multiple clients. Multiple clients now we can concurrently handle with the help of the multi-threading concepts. So these are the multiple client accepting is a very scalable and responsiveness. That means which handle the multiple client connections simultaneously. And responsiveness means here each client can receive the timely responses. Timely which will be responded. Within this other time it will be effectively responded, and that without being this affected by the other clients now request which improving the overall responsiveness. That is a responsiveness. That means client are responded very effectively. That is a concurrent handling of the multiple other clients. The efficiency can be improved. That here is real-time communications. That is a immediate feedback, low latency. Immediately now echo servers are designed to sending the feedback very immediately and providing the real-time feedback to the other clients. Here is the echo. Low latency. Here is the real-time communication. The latency of this echo server using the threading is very low. By using this the threading mechanism, in echo servers, the quickly and minimizing the latency in a communications. Resource management, efficiently utilizing of the system resources, load balancing. So these are all the resource management. And reliability and stability, isolation of the client the sessions, and these are the fault or the tolerance or the reliability and stability. That means here by using this the threading echo server threading concept, so each client the session is isolated from the others, which is reducing the risk of one client actions which are affecting to the other clients. If one thread encountered an error, and here it can be handled independently without impacting the entire server, which is improving the fault tolerance. Here is easy of maintenance and scalability. That is a modularity and scalability. Performance optimization, parallel the processing and reducing the blocking operations. Now which avoiding the blocking operations. By avoiding the blocking operations, smoothly performing the operations and faster communications can be established. Overall performance of the server is improved with help of the parallel processing. Multi-threading now, the parallel processing now, overall performance can be improved. And the flexible in a design. Customizable thread management and adaptability. Here is the server can be adapted to the various real-time other applications, short applications to complex the industrial the control and systems. Here is security. Now we'll provide the more other security. That means threaded isolation for the security and controlled actions. Threads can help the isolated different client and the connections. Here, these are the threads now which is implementing the security measures and ensuring that vulnerabilities and affecting one client do not compromise the other client. Controlling accessing can be as a control by managing the each connection in a separate threading. The server can enforce strict accessing control and monitoring the and enhancing the security. So these objectives, which is creating the robust, efficient, scalable TCP echo server capable of the handling the real-time other communications need in a various the applications. In conclusion now, we can say it as TCP echo server using the thread. So it is a powerful and efficient solution for the real-time communications in a various applications. Here, the concurrent and the handling and the capabilities of threads, such as a server which is can provide the scalability, responsiveness, resource the management. Now, scalability means now which having the ability to manage the multiple other client other connections simultaneously. Responsiveness means now which is ensures timely feedback with a minimum other latency. Resource management means which is effectively utilizing the resources which is sharing with the CPU, and system other resources can be utilized very effectively. Reliability and stability and easy of maintenance, performance optimization, flexibility, security we can achieve. That means improving the security through the thread, the isolation and controlling the actions. That is these are the benefits which make the TCP echo server as ideal for the wide range of the real-time applications from chat, gaming to the remote device as a control and monitoring the systems and financial as a transactions, customer the support and more. Here is the ability to handle the high concurrency and which provide the real-time communication, which ensures that they can meet the demand of the modern iterative the applications in various sectors of the society. This is about the TCP echo server using the threads. Textbooks these are the textbooks, Unix network programming and network management, the principles and the practices. The reference are the Inter-Networking with TCP IP Volume 3 and William Stanley, SNMP, SNMP V2, SNMP V3, and these are all the web references. These four are the web references. This is about the TCP echo server using threads.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.